representatives from the national government agencies, LGU leagues, and development partners. Starting with the Department of Transportation. Friends, palakpakan po natin, Secretary Jaime Bautista.
Honorable Governor Dax Kua, ULAP President, Yusek Marlo Iringan of the Department of Interior and Local Government, Jason John Joyce, Vice President Mindanao for the LMP, Dr. Claire Dennis Mapa, National Statistician and Civil Registrar General of the Philippine Statistics Authority, governors, mayors, other local government officials, fellow workers in government, good afternoon. We are glad the Department of Interior and Local Government made us part of this timely local governance summit that aims to concretize the support mechanism between national agencies and local governments. Discussions over the last 2 days on development challenges has solicited fresh perspectives that allow partner agencies help LGUs on such issues as digital transformation, smart infrastructure, disaster resiliency, healthcare, and poverty alleviation, among others. The Department of Transportation plays a vital supporting role in this endeavor. We are mandated to put up transport infrastructures that will facilitate efficient movement of people and goods within and across cities and municipalities. While building these infrastructures may result to inconveniences, our projects generate much-needed jobs for local residents. We source our workers from local communities who directly benefit from the surge in economic activity arising from these projects. We also need to intimately coordinate with local governments in planning and implementing these projects, most especially at resolving right-of-way issues. One of our urgent concerns today is the issuance of Local Public Transport Route Plan, or LPTRP, by LGUs. This is central to the second component, which is route rationalization of the Public Transport Modernization Program. We hope LGUs understand the urgency of issuing these LPTRPs to consolidated transport groups so they can modernize their fleet. Corollary to the modernization program is the advocacy of promoting safety in all modes of transport that also need close collaboration with local governments. Enforcement of existing safety ordinances in roads, rails, airports, and seaports should be a joint responsibility of DOTR and all LGUs. Whether we are building massive railway lines or designating bike lanes, we have seen at this summit the need for fresh perspective at how we collaborate. We acknowledge the divergence of thinking between officials of national agencies and local governments. You may focus on the welfare of your constituents or residents. Our focus is the same, just bigger in its scope. We focus on improving the travel experience of all residents throughout the country. We promise to enhance your journeys on trains, airplanes, buses, jeepneys, motorcycles, ships, even bicycles. And just as we try to level up our approach to issues, we also aim to elevate the country's transport systems to global standards. This is why we are talking of cable cars, electric cars, modern jeepneys, electric scooters, electric river ferries, massive subway, cashless tollways, and others. None of these innovative modes of transport would be implementable if local governments withheld their cooperation. Our gratitude, therefore, to the Interior Department and various foreign partners, particularly the supportive United Nations agencies, for this summit that serves as occasion to adopt innovative approaches and address local governance issues with the support of national agencies like the Department of Transportation. Let us follow through with cascading activities to make a tabletop discussions impact on the respective advocacies and initiatives. Thank you and mabuhay.
Hello. Maraming salamat, Secretary Bautista. Palakpakan po natin muli siya. Next, to give us a message of support again, may we call on stage Undersecretary Dennis Mapa, the National Statistician and Civil Registrar General of the Philippine Statistics Authority. Palakpakan po natin siya.
To Secretary Jaime Bautista of the DOTR, Secretary Ted Rosa of the DOH, and my colleague from the University of the Philippines, Governor Dax Cua of the ULAP, and the representative of ULAP to the PSA board, kasama po namin. Also our Vice President for the League of Municipalities of the Philippines, Jason John Joyce. Magandang hapon. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests and colleagues, a pleasant afternoon to all of you. The Philippine Statistics Authority reaffirms its unwavering commitment and support to the Department of the Interior and Local Government and the Union of the Local Authorities of the Philippines to advance smart governance in the Philippines. The Philippine Statistics Authority is fully committed to provide data to our local government units for planning and policymaking objectives. As you are aware, this year we implemented the Census of Population and the Community-Based Monitoring System, or the POPSEN-CBMS. We will now be able to provide the needed information to our city and municipal governments as they aim to create data-driven and evidence-based programs and policies. Yung ating Census of Population, the 2024 Census of Population of the Community-Based Monitoring System, started last July 15. And as of today, I'm very happy to report that the Philippine Statistics Authority was able to cover about 10 million households already out of the target 27.5 million households nationwide. We are on target to complete the data enumeration by September this year, and will start data turnover to the local government units during the first quarter of 2025. The community-based monitoring system will serve as an instrument of positive change across various sectors and will facilitate targeted programs to promote education, ensure health and safety, foster economic development, and advance social welfare initiatives. This is on top of the data currently being generated by the Philippine Statistics Authority through our regular surveys that cover provincial and highly urbanized city-level data. The Philippine Statistics Authority will also continue to deliver and improve its capacity strengthening activities for our local government units through various training on data literacy, official statistics, and the community-based monitoring system data utilization. Regarding civil registration, which is one of the mandates of the Philippine Statistics Authority, the PSA will continue to partner with our LGUs in implementing our birth registration assistance project. Having an identity is a fundamental right, and living in geographically isolated and disadvantaged areas should not hinder a person's access to birth registration. That is why in the Philippine Statistics Authority, we bring this service to the communities to ensure that the vulnerable and the marginalized are officially recognized as members of our society. Another big project that is being implemented by the Philippine Statistics Authority is the National ID. The National ID is now being used to authenticate our social protection programs beneficiaries, starting with the 4 Ps, through biometric information. Duplicates are identified and the uniqueness of beneficiaries is guaranteed. This will reduce leakages and ensure efficient government expenditure, giving you the confidence that every peso of the government is spent wisely. Together, the community-based monitoring system data and the national ID will help national and local government agencies identify beneficiaries and deliver social protection programs. We at the Philippine Statistics Authority remain firm and committed to our partnership and to ensuring that our services become embedded in every national government agency and local government unit for an inclusive and more sustainable governance framework. Thank you, and let us continue collaborating towards a smart, resilient, and data-driven governance in the Philippines. Mayong hapon sa atong tanan.
Maraming salamat, Yusek Mapa. Now, may we call on stage Mayor Attorney Jason John Joyce, the Vice President for Mindanao, representing the League of Municipalities of the Philippines. Palakpakan po natin siya.
The realization of smart, driven, and resilient communities rely on smart, resilient, and driven leaders. Distinguished guests, fellow public servants, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon to all. From the Kakailians of the Solid North, down to our brothers and sisters of BARM of the South, the 1,486 members of the League of Municipalities of the Philippines pledge our commitment to the collective goal of advancing smart governance in the Philippines. The municipalities under our league have already started implementing initiatives parallel to the objectives set forth in this summit. We pledge our support as we continue to strengthen our ongoing local programs which aim to advance smart governance in the country. One of the advocacies of our league is to localize the different sustainable development goals, thereby creating smart communities. We do recognize the municipality's potential in attaining sustainable development, which is why we have already started pushing for a better Bagong Pilipinas. To all of us present this afternoon, from the national and international agencies to the local government leagues, we reiterate our commitment. You can always count on the LMP's support in making our LGUs smart, resilient, and driven, with equally smart, resilient, and driven mayors. Dagang salamat, mabuhay tayong lahat.
Maraming salamat. Mayor Mayor Joyce. Lastly, but definitely not the least, may we hear a message from Edwin Carey, Deputy Resident Representative of the United Nations Development Program. Let's give him our loud round of applause.
Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Good afternoon. Warm greetings to the Honorable Secretaries, Governors, and Mayors at the Presidential Table, Yusek Marlo. Good afternoon to you all. I'm honored to give this closing message today on behalf of development partners to discuss or to present some of our role in supporting the advancement of local governance in the Philippines. I will do my best given the broad range of development partners, and I will try to keep it brief. But first, I want to congratulate the Philippines for organizing this very strategic event. This is the second edition after a very successful one last year, and this event celebrates local governance as an engine for growth, and it also celebrates the role of local chief executives as agents for change, as agents for development in the country. 6 years towards the term of the Global Development Commitments, the Agenda 2030, the world is not yet on track to achieve the SDGs. According to the 2024 Sustainable Development Report, only about 16% of global targets are actually on track. Thankfully, the Philippines is doing much better. 1/3 of the targets are on track in the Philippines. And we have seen from the recent statistics published, poverty is also decreasing in the Philippines. And the country is on its track to become an upper middle income country in the coming years. Local governments will have a key role to play, not only in catching up in the SDGs, but also in ensuring that in doing so, no one is left behind. Local public servants, such as yourselves, are closer to what we call the last mile area populations, and we are positioned much better to be the first responder of your constituents' needs. Considering the above, we need a broad consensus of what kind of governance, of local governance, is needed. And discussions during this 2-day summit gravitated exactly around this. And they pointed to the need for a governance that is smart, resilient, and driven. We tried to demonstrate through the pioneering work of the LGUs and the supporting actions and innovations of government partners and development partners. But let me offer some reflection. First, on smart governance. The word is often associated with digital technology to improve public services and make government efficient. Of course, technology is necessary, but it is not enough. There is a more fundamental discussion about how using technology, which is a tool, which is a means, to improve services to citizens and to make local governments more agile in responding to the needs of the citizens at the local level. Resilience is often associated with disaster risk reduction. And in the Philippines, this is a perfectly understandable approach. This being said, the gist of the Philippines is how local governance can help local communities absorb external shocks and resume their development trajectories without too much disruption in their development path. So, as international partners, how can we help? First, being demand-driven. This is why, as the United Nations, our development compact with the Philippines, the UN country framework, is anchored into the Philippines Development Plan. Secondly, we are driven by norms. We operate based on fundamental values that shape our respective mandates. From a right-based approach to operational principles like do no harm or leave no one behind. And lastly, we need to make sure that our portfolios are focused on development at the local level. Someone before me mentioned that the development in the Philippines will be local. And I firmly believe in these assertions. In a country that is already in an upward development trajectory, the focus needs to be on the populations that are the most at risk of being left behind. Allow me to conclude by congratulating the DILG, not only for successfully hosting the summit, but also for shaping local governance through discussion and exchange. On behalf of UNDP, I would also like to thank our own partners, including the EU, including Australia, Japan, and Canada, for the support that they have provided us in our effort to support local development. And finally, let me also recognize all of you, fellow development partners, civil servants who wake up every day with the drive and the engagement to push local governments for the service of citizens in last mile areas. Maraming salamat po. Excellent long weekend to all.
Maraming salamat, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come to elevate our efforts to enhance public service delivery through harmonized efforts and strengthen convergence across our government and with our partners. Driven by our duty to serve, let us be more open to welcome innovations and improvements in the way we do things for improved governance and better public service. May I request everyone to please stand and join me as we recite our Pledge of Commitment for Local Governance. All together, may I request everyone to please raise your right hand. Together, we, the national government agencies, leagues of LGUs, representing the LGUs and development partners, do hereby commit to support the advancement of smart governance in the country, to wit, to promote and apply guidelines, systems, and tools on emerging technology innovations to improve governance and public service delivery, and further advance the achievement of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, to foster tighter coordination and fruitful collaboration with various stakeholders to achieve greater local fiscal accountability, transparency, local economic development, and sustainable environmental management, to intensify local-national government interfacing, inter-LGU cooperation, and public-private partnerships, cognizant of the need for a more inclusive development perspective, and strengthen linkages across all levels of government. In acknowledgement of the need to sustain the gains and move these governance reforms further, we do hereby sign this pledge of commitment. This 23rd day of August 2024, Pasay City, Philippines. Palakpakan po natin. Let's give it a round of applause as we usher in LGUs sa Bagong Pilipinas. You may also sign the commitment wall, which is found at the end of Hall 1. Please take your seats. As we come to an end to our program, let us take this opportunity to recognize the invaluable contributions of our partners. The summit will not be possible without the support and assistance they have provided. To award the plaque of recognition to our partners, let me call on stage Governor Dakila Kua and Undersecretary Marlo Iringan of the DILG. Again, may we invite USEC Marlo Iringan and Governor Dakila Kuwa to the stage for the awarding of our plaques. Okay, let me read the plaque and its inscription. The plaque of appreciation is awarded to our partners for their invaluable contribution as a summit partner during the Local Governance Summit 2024, held on August 22 to 23, 2024, given this day at the PICC Pasay City, signed Secretary Benjamin C. Abalos, DILG, and Governor Dakila Carlo Cuwa, ULAP. If your agency is called, we may invite you to the stage. We will be calling it in batches for the photo op. First, DOTR, represented by Secretary Jaime J. Bautista. To be followed by the DOH, represented by Secretary Chodoro Herbosa. Next, Undersecretary Dennis Mapa, the National Statistician and Civil Registrar, PSA. Next, the representative from the Office of Civil Defense. Again, may we call in the representative from the Office of Civil Defense, to be followed by the representative from the Metro Manila Development Authority. After which, we will call in the representatives from the NNC. Assistant Secretary Azucena Dayanghiram. Next, the representative from the NWRB, OIC Executive Director Ricky Arzadon. Next, the representative from the National Economic Development Authority. Next, the representative from the Department of Budget and Management. Next, the representative of the DENR. Next, we will follow the representative of DSUD. After which, we'll have the representative from the DICT. Next, the representative from DSWD. And lastly, for our government agencies, our friends from the DOST. Again, ladies and gentlemen, palakpakan po natin ang ating mga partner government agencies. Now, let's proceed to our development partners. Bigyan po natin sila ng super lakas na malakpakan dahil sa kanila ay natuloy ang ating local governance summit. Una sa lahat, ang representative from the World Bank. After the World Bank, we'll have the representative from GIZ. Next, the representative from USAID Change. Okay, the GIZ representative is there. To be followed by USAID Change. Next, the representative from UNICEF. Okay. Okay. After that, we have our partners from UNICEF. Following UNICEF is USAID Urban Connect. And lastly, for our development partners is our friends from UN Habitat. And of course, lastly, and certainly not the least, our friends from the UNDP. Once again, isang masigabong palakpakan sa mga development partners ng Local Governance Summit 2024. Okay, thank you, Yusek Marlo and Governor Dax. To officially close the Local Governance Summit 2024, may we call on our partners in the organizing team of this historic event. First, may we call in the Undersecretary for Local Government. Friends, isang masigabong palakpakan para kay Yusek Marlo Iringan ng DILG.
A pleasant afternoon, everyone. Of course, I would like to acknowledge Secretary Jaime Bautista of the Department of Transportation, sir. Secretary Ted Herbosa of the Department of Health. Governor Dax Cua of the province of Quirino and the President of the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines. Mayor Jason John Joyce, the LMP representative. Undersecretary Dennis Mapa of the Philippine Statistics Authority. Mr. Edwin Curry, of the United Nations Development Program, our dear governors, city and municipal mayors, the members of the local sanggunians, local functionaries, our development partners, our partners from the different national government agencies. Good afternoon, everyone. I bring you the greetings of our beloved Secretary, very passionate and tireless worker for good governance, Attorney Benjamin C. Abalos Jr. And on his behalf, allow me to express our sincerest gratitude to our partners, the Department of Science and Technology, the Department of Information and Communications Technology, the Department of Human Settlements and Urban Development, of course, the Department of Transportation, the Development Academy of the Philippines, our development partners, the UN family, the German Embassy, USAID, the World Bank, and particularly to our esteemed resource persons who have come together from various national government agencies and local government units. To everyone who have been part of this summit, our deepest gratitude. With the increasing expectations of our people, the provision of efficient and effective public service delivery has become more and more of a necessity. To address these challenges, we recognize the need to maximize the use of resources as we in the national and local governments provide responsive and inclusive services to our constituents. Our President, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., in his message this morning, called for the commitment of our LGUs in maximizing digital technologies and innovations as tools in effectively and efficiently addressing governance and development issues and concerns for better service delivery. After hearing the innovations and best practices shared by our invited resource speakers from the various national government agencies, the local government units, and even from our international partners, we hope that you will be inspired and encouraged to adopt and integrate these smart innovations, tools, and systems in your respective governance processes and mechanisms. When I was young, my father told me to learn from my mistakes, but as I grew up, I learned that there is a better way to gain wisdom. And that is not only to gain from my mistakes, but also to gain from the mistakes of others. But over time, I realized that the best way to gain more insights, knowledge, and wisdom is to gain not only from the mistakes of others, but to gain from the best practices of others. And I do believe, ladies and gentlemen, that in the last 2 days, yesterday afternoon and today, we have learned a lot from the expert sharings of our resource persons, from the Ministry of Land Infrastructure and Transportation of Japan to the sharing of the winners of the Galing Pook Award, to the best practices of our LGUs, which were provided or shared in the 5 thematic sessions that we have heard this afternoon. As we journey towards a smart, resilient, and driven Philippines, rest assured that the DILG will always be your partner in bridging and forging collaborations between and among national and local governments, development partners, and other concerned stakeholders in promoting and implementing smart and innovative solutions down the local level. I am positive that our collaboration towards excellence in local governance will come to fruition. Together, we will strive to create more LGU exemplars championing effective governance in their respective localities. Together, we will attain a vision of a Bagong Pilipinas where LGUs are smart, resilient, and driven. And to end my closing remarks, I would like to share with you an anecdote about the Good Samaritan. Of course, we all know the anecdote of the Good Samaritan, but the thing that I will share with you has a twist. It has a twist. High in Europe, high up in a cliff, was located a town where beyond the cliff is a breathtaking view of the ocean. There are a lot of people visiting the town. But because sometimes they forget that they are already near the edge of the cliff, they fall below the cliff, down to the rocky surface. And so, the good and well-meaning people of the town put their money together to buy an ambulance so that whenever somebody falls down the cliff, there is a ready ambulance that will bring him or her to the hospital. What do you call those well-meaning members of the town? They are the Good Samaritan because they bring people in distress to the hospital. But there is this woodcutter who went to the forest and cut tree saplings and used the tree saplings to build a fence near the edge of the town, thereby preventing people from falling down the cliff. What do you call that tree cutter? He is the better Samaritan. So ladies and gentlemen, as I look at each and every one of you, you are both the version of the good and the better Samaritan. Because through the effort that we do, through the work of our heads and our hearts, we make our communities, our local government units, a better place to live in. So on behalf of our Secretary, Attorney Benjamin C. Abalos Jr., I would like to thank all the local officials who have been with us for the last 2 days, our development partners. Particularly, I would like to give salute to the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines under the leadership of Governor Dax Cua. Palakpakan po natin ang ULAP. Governor Dax, we hope that we can do this again next year, better and bigger. Maraming salamat sa inyo at mabuhay ang Bagong Pilipinas.
Maraming salamat, Yusek Marlo. We'd like to request our guests before we head for the last speaker to settle down as we proceed to the last speaker of today. Of course, the National President of ULAP. It is my pleasure to call in Governor Dakila Cua.
Hello. Hi. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Alam ko pong uwi na tayong lahat, but let my fellow government workers give me at least 3 minutes lang. Allow me to greet our distinguished visitors and guests. Health Secretary Ted Herbosa, palakpakan po natin si Sec Ted. Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista is also here. Interior and Local Government Undersecretary Marlo Iringan and all the other DILG family, napakarami nila dito ngayon. Undersecretary and National Statistician Dr. Dennis Mapa. To our friends from international agencies, we have from World Bank, Ma'am Narai Che. We have from UNDP, Mr. Edwin Kari. And my fellow local government officials from the League of Municipalities of the Philippines, their VP for Mindanao, Mayor Jason John Joyce. Other local officials, nakita ko po dyan kanina ang isang napakagandang gobernadora. Andyan po si Governor Angel Amante, palakpakan po natin si Gov. Nakita ko rin po si Governor Matthew Manotoc just a while ago and all the other local officials who are here today. Sa ating mga partners, sa inyo pong lahat, magandang araw sa atin. Today marks the end of a 2-day activity. Today marks the end of a historic moment wherein local officials were gathered in the same venue with international aid agencies, with the members of the diplomatic corps, with department secretaries and national government agency workers. And today marks the end of our initial discussions on how to improve service delivery. But today, more importantly, marks the beginning of stronger partnership and more awareness for potential collaboration. Today marks the beginning in history wherein aid agencies from all over the world talk directly to local officials like governors, mayors, councilors, and barangay officials. Today is the start where the bridge becomes shorter and the dialogue becomes more intimate. I hope today's breakout sessions proved to be very fruitful to all our stakeholders. I'd like to ask everyone to please palakpakan po natin lahat ng nag-organize itong summit na ito, lalong-lalo na ang ating Interior and Local Government Secretary, Secretary Benher Abalos, who had to run to Camp Crame to meet the President there. But to our Secretary Abalos, maraming salamat for making this happen and empowering the local government units and officials even further. So to my dear friends, thank you. I will now end my message, and rest assured you will all receive your certificate of appearances. Anyway, DILG is here. So maraming salamat, and I hope, as Yusek Marlo said, and as mentioned by the Secretary Benher Abalos, we will see each other again next year in another event like this with more participation and deeper engagements with our stakeholders. Maraming salamat at magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Maraming salamat, Governor Kua, and that concludes the Local Governance Summit 2024. Once again, to facilitate an orderly exit, we would like to inform you that the certificate of appearances as inferred by the Governor is as follows. Forum 1 exit will contain sessions 1 and 2. Forum 2 exit will contain session 3 and ULAP sessions. And Forum 3 exit will contain the CAs for sessions 4 and 5. Muli, on behalf of the Department of the Interior and Local Government and the Union of Local Authorities of the Philippines, maraming salamat sa inyong pakikiisa at mabuhay ang bawat Pilipino sa Bagong Pilipinas!